feel tensions rising. I hear voices in my head. They counsel me, they understand. They talk to me. They talk to me. They tell me things that I will do. They show me things I'll do to you. They talk to me. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. They talk to me. Talk to me, talk to me.
What's up, YouTubers? It's Harpy89 coming at you from the Duelist Den, and the voices in my head have told me it's time to do the updated Graydle profile. So, with that being said, this is a Graydle-Kaiju deck profile. I modified the Graydle-Raptors profile. It did really well when I was playing against people up at regionals last weekend. It's not the deck. Graydle-Actress is not the deck I used to play in the regionals. That's actually my Harpy Pendulum Magician deck. But I did get some of the Kaijus I need to finish this deck. I was not able to get a Gamecill, which really sucks. Or the place of the Gamecills I wanted, which really sucked. But this is the updated Graydle. It is Graydle-Kaijus, so let's jump right into this. Of course, we have the Graydle engine. We have 3 alligators, 3 cobras, and 3 eagles. Now, all 3 of these share similar effects as when they are destroyed by battle. You can target one monster your opponent controls, equip this card to that target, and take control of that target. In addition to that, they also have a secondary effect. If they're destroyed by a card effect, in Alligator's case it's spells, in Cobra's case it's traps, in Eagle's case it's monsters. If they're destroyed by a corresponding effect, then you can again target your opponent's face-up monster, equip this card to it, and take control of that monster. So these are really good cards because, you know, what's funner than taking your opponent's monsters and using them against them? Next up, we have 3 Graydle Slime Juniors. Graydle Slime Junior, when it's normal summoned, you can special summon a Graydle from your graveyard, and then if you do, you can special summon a Graydle from your hand whose level matches the level of that Graydle monster. The problem is you can only special summon water type monsters the turn you use this effect. That part, you know, kind of sucks, but it does balance the deck out a little bit. Next up, I run 2 Graydle Slimes. This card, you can destroy 2 Graydle cards on the field to special summon this card from your hand. And when you do, you can special summon a Graydle from your graveyard. I only run 2 of them merely because you can use this card's effect from your hand and from the graveyard. So you really only need 2 copies of it. Now for the Kaiju engine, I run 3 Comungus. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but like all the Kaijus, you can tribute a monster on your opponent's side of the field to special summon it. This helps you get around things like Totally Awesome and a shit ton of the zoos. This particular Kaiju lets you remove 2 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field. When your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can remove 2 Kaiju counters. And until the end of the next turn, that monster cannot attack and its effects are negated. So this is a pretty good effect. I really like it. I actually get the effect off more than I thought I would, so it's pretty cool. Next up, I run 3 Thunder King, the Lightning Strike Kaijus. What this one does is you remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field. Your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated for the rest of this turn. Also, this card can make up to 3 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. So it gives you multiple attacks. It's a pretty great effect. Next up, I run 3 Jizikiri. Once I get my Gamecills, Jizikiri will be coming out of this deck. Merely because Jizikiri lets you remove counters to negate effects that target. So if you put this on your opponent's side of the field and use a Kaiju effect, it does kind of suck because they can negate the Graydle effect. So once I get my decks of the Gamecills, this will be coming out. But this was the one I decided to go for, merely because, you know, right now Paleozoics have effects that target, Zodiacs have effects that target. It works really great against them. Then of course you have your Pot of Dualities. Now, you can't summon your Kaijus the turn you use Pot of Duality, but if you go first and you use Pot of Duality, it's not too big a deal. Next up, we of course have our 1 Regeki. Now you might be saying, why would you want to destroy your opponent's monsters when you've got Graydles that can take them out? Well, there are cards that prevent targeting effects, so Regeki is real good to get around those cards. And of course we have your deck set salvage. Now all the Graydles have 1500 or less attack, so this lets you recycle your Graydles back to your hand. Then of course you have your Upstart Goblin. And next up we have the deck set of Graydle Impact. Graydle Impact is you can destroy one Graydle card you control to destroy one card your opponent controls, or target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. The second effect is during the end phase you can add a Graydle card from your deck to your hand. The downside is you cannot use both effects in the same turn. So that does kind of suck, but it does balance the card out. Then of course you have your Kaiju Waterfront. Each time a card is sent from the field to the graveyard, place a counter on it, or Kaiju counter. When there are 3 more Kaiju counters on this card, you can add one Kaiju monster from your deck to your hand. If this card will be destroyed, you can remove one Kaiju counter from this card instead. So it's a pretty great card. So here, is it once per turn? Oh yeah, it's once per turn. You can remove, or you can add the card from your deck to your hand. The downside is this can only have a maximum of 5 counters on it. Then of course we have our Graydle Splits. Graydle Split equips itself to a monster and it gains 500 attack. Then you can destroy this card and the monster to special summon 2 Graydle monsters from your deck. So ideally you want to put Cobra on the field, equip this to Cobra, destroy this and Cobra. Cobra takes control of one of your opponent's monsters. Then you can get ideally a Graydle Slime plus level 3 Graydle to go into your level 8 Synchro plays. For the extra deck, we run one ally of Justice Catastor. Catastor is really great because if it goes up against a non-dark, that monster is destroyed instantly with its effect. So getting this out on the field real early, as long as it's not destroyed by a card effect, you can attack into higher attack point monsters and just wipe them out with this card's effect. And of course you have Hyper Librarian. You do a lot of synchro summoning in this deck, so having a Librarian on the field is really good because you get a bunch of draws off of it. And of course we got Stardust Dragon. Regekis and Dark Holes, like I said, are a big thing right now, so you want to be able to negate those effects, and that's what Stardust Dragon does. Then of course we run 2 Graydle Dragons. What this card does when synchro summon, you destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of water monsters, or sorry, not water. Is it aqua? Oh yeah, sorry, it is water. You can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of water monsters used for the synchro summon and destroy those cards. So you're going to be getting either 2 or 3 card destruction, or destroying 2 or 3 cards with this, depending on which tuner monster you use. And of course we run 1 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, which destroys all other attack position monsters on the field. We run 2 Scarlights, which destroys all special summon monsters on the field with attack less than or equal to this card's attack, and then it deals 500 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. Run 1 Red Nova Dragon. Now this card is really easy to get out in this deck. Granted, if you use Slime's ability to bring another Slime back from the grave, or Slime Jr.'s ability to bring another Slime Jr. back from the graveyard, you can't bring this out that same turn. But if you protect yourself well enough, this is real easy to get out on the field. In addition to that, this gains 500 attack for every tuner in your graveyard, and it can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Next up, we have Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. What this card does is when this card is synchro summoned, you can activate this effect for the rest of this turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards, or also cards your opponent controls cannot activate their effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. If this card destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, by battle, or card effect, you can target 1 level 8 Dark Dragon type synchro monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So this lets you get back either Hot Red Dragon Archfiend or Scarlight. Plus it's a 4000 beat stick, which is really amazing. For the Xyz monsters, we run number 49 Fortune Tune. This lets you recycle level 3s from your graveyard, and if it's destroyed, it goes back to the extra deck. Next up, we have Wind Up Zen Mains. Of course, you know you like having cards that can't be destroyed, and in addition to that, this lets you destroy an opponent's face-up card if that effect is used. Then, of course, we run number 17 Leviathan Dragon. This is really great because it can get up to 3000 beat sticks. The downside is if it has no materials, it cannot attack your opponent directly. Next up, we have number 47 Nightmare Shark, which allows a water monster to attack your opponent directly. And you have some pretty powerful water monsters in this deck, so this works really well. And of course we have the big ol' acid golem of destruction. Now I don't like the effect that you take damage during the end phase, but you know, it's well worth the 3000 attack if you played it at the right time. Moving on to the extra deck, we of course have the double dark hole. Again, you usually don't want to destroy your opponent's field, but if you need to, it's good to have it. And of course we have 3 MSTs. This works really great because Imperial Order can shut down a lot of the spells in this deck. Also, you know, there are a lot of decks like Chain Burn that are coming back. They're back row heavy, so you want to have an out to them. And of course we got Mind Crush. If you watched my Harpy Magic Spectre video, you understand why it's in there. A lot of decks do searches, so it's good to be able to get rid of those cards. Next up we have Imperial Iron Wall. Again, this, like I said in my Harpy Magic Spectre profile, this works really great against Paleozoics, but also you don't want any of your cards getting banished either, because your Graydles activate in the graveyard and they don't work if they're banished. So this is a great protection effect for Graydles. Of course you have Skill Drain. Graydle effects work primarily in the graveyard, so Skill Drain can't stop them, and being able to negate your opponent's monster effects is a good bonus. And of course we've got 3 Zing Zen Who's. Now I was actually trying to figure out what the last 3 cards for this side deck need to be. Then I thought, well, Paleozoics are a big pain in the ass. And if you go side this in and go first, you can set it face down, your opponent will set their Paleozoic traps, then during your opponent's end phase, you activate this, and this can shut down their Paleozoic trap cards, which really stops the deck in its tracks. I honestly think Zing Zang Hu should be a great tech option against any Paleozoics, you know, but that's just me. But anyway, let me know what you thought about this deck. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments in the section below. And until next time, this is Harpy 89 and the voices in my head signing off.
Take a shot